One day, after class, I approached him to ask a question. And he looked at me and said, "You've asked too many questions, more than all questions I received from all other students." So, and then he just left the classroom without answering to my question. So I followed him because I really want to know the answer.
Another memory about Chuck is he was the first time I saw that, the espresso cup. You know, he always had this little espresso cup. And then at the time, the Chinese students never saw, because we don't drink coffee back in China at the time, right? So the graduate students were discussing how much he can drink from that little cup. Like, why would he always stick to this cup and drink this little thing? Well, many years later, I started to collaborate with Italians, and I started to drink espressos, and I get that. I remember I almost, at the graduation, I almost want to steal one of his cups. I feel like this is so cool. Until back, I realized how deep, how fundamental the things he cover. I wish at the time I had a bit more sense of what statistics, what inference was about. But he covered all of these actually important things really with such eloquence. And of course, I learned a bit more at the time about likelihood principle and also the three different main schools of statistics. Again, I couldn't understand really the nuances and basically what are those things are until very late when I become a faculty, because when you teach, you have to learn.
So in one of the lunch together, I asked him a question. So I said, "What would you do if you were 30 years old again?" And he said, "Well, let me write back to you." So the next morning, he sent me an email with this title, "If I Was 30 Again," and he listed these 8 really thoughtful research areas and potential directions. And examples, that's back in 2014, examples like understanding evidential properties in big data settings. And he also offered advice of learning some Bayesian, because he knew I couldn't digest Bayesian when I was a student. So, and at the end, he also put, I left out genomics and imaging because he thinks that we need someone to get people out of the p-value based conclusions. So this is very, Chuck Rohde style. So I have to confess, so this is, I selfishly kept this secret list to myself and trying to draw inspirations from this for many years. And this actually helped me to shape my research areas.
This graph is hugely, it just makes it so clear. Even if you're a first year PhD student or even undergraduate student, you look at this really elegantly connects all the things I think is statistically important. And in a very, it's a loop. I find that is to me, it's very helpful. And again, I keep lifting Chuck's ideas in teaching.
Another story I want to share is that in March 2018, and Dr. Rohde spent 3 days at the University of Pennsylvania, and he meets all of my students and listen to their research topics patiently and offer career advices. And we also had a dinner with one of the former Hopkins alumni. Many of you know Warren Bucher. And during his visit, he also gave a talk. And his talk, originally he wanted to talk about likelihood-based inference, and then later he changed his mind and talked about this profound topic about, can we keep statistics in biostatistics? And we know as biostatisticians, there are a lot of competitions nowadays, medical informatician, computer science, and we do face questions about our identity. And he offered a really thought-provoking discussion about this topic.
Those people there were the kind of the towering figure in the department and also taught me so much. So I really thank Chuck for making the department the way it was. And the department, as Karen mentioned, was the happiest department on campus. And indeed, as a student, we were just so happy because we could actually go to the classroom, we could go to the office and then just address Dr. Ziegler is Scott, right? But except Chuck, everyone call him Dr. Rohde. But I was very surprised coming from China. Like, how can you call those famous professors just by name? And it was like that. So everyone's very happy. And again, Dr. Rohde really helped to shape the department. So that is so important.
This is a drawing for Dr. Rohde. My mom made when she visited Hawkins for my graduation. Thanks to Dr. Rohde. Dr. Rohde hung this actually drawing in his office, and he allowed Brian to take a picture and to send me because I asked him to actually take a picture because at the time my mom passed away and our family wanted to have a memorial book for her artwork, and then this drawing is included in her book.
I asked him another question. So basically, what is your perception of all these fast-moving, fast-evolving landscapes of all these fancy areas, different data science subdomains and machine learning and deep learning areas? And he responded really profoundly. He said, to me, I think those are waves. And this is a quote he actually put in his slides. He said, 60 years ago, biomathematics ruled, and then statistical ecology and so on. And the same will happen to the hot areas of today. The best way we can do is to be ready to adapt and be willing to change research areas. I think this very much speaks to his philosophy. I think always look ahead and also deeply rooted to the wisdoms from experience. So to me, he influenced me, changed my career trajectory permanently. So I think his legacy remains immortal, and so we will deeply miss him. So thank you.